Greg, come on. Come on, we gotta go clean our nets. Come on. Come on, get up.
Do I have to get up already, Grandpa?
Yeah, it's time to get up. Come on, put your stuff over there. Come on.
Okay.
We gotta go clean those nets. Get it over with. Hey, Marxers!
Hereby declares that it is the policy of this nation to protect the best interest of the Indian tribes and their families by the establishment of minimum federal standards for the removal of Indian children from their families and the placement of those children in foster homes. Thus, we establish the Indian Child Welfare Act.
He is. Looks like a world grave fish.
Yes.
Yeah, he looks like he's white, doesn't he? Come on, Greg. Greg, I see your little friends up here.
Come here, Grandpa, wait for me. Grandpa, how come I have to clean that?
Well, we can catch fish better, babe. And the net's clean. You gonna help Grandpa clean the net? Shush up.
There you go, go ahead.
Better help your old Grandpa now. We gotta get this done. So,
Ooh, I found a dead fish.
Fish some more.
Look, keep it for bait. Okay, go ahead. It's all dried up. Go ahead. Did the people in the old days used to do this?
Sure it did. Since the time began, the Indians used to catch fish with these nets. But they didn't have this kind of net, though.
What kind of net did they have in the old days?
Well, they used hemp. What the hell?
What's
they call
that?
it hemp.
What's that?
Well, it grows up on the side hill. The biggest fish I ever caught was 300 pounds. It looked just like an alligator, too. Yeah. Big fat sucker, too. Well, son, how'd you like our day out there in the river?
That's good.
Yeah, we caught 4 fish. Yeah, I better sharpen up my knife here so we can get them fish in the smokehouse, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of dull anyway.
You want me to help you?
You just have you help, Grandpa. Well, I'm getting tired.
Do you think you could teach me how to make the net more?
Oh, I
For
can.
after that?
Yeah, we'll teach you how to patch them nets up, hang them nets, put the fish in the smokehouse.
Who's out there? Someone's out
Oh, it's that social worker. Got a policeman with her. I wonder what they want.
there. I don't know.
Maybe we just don't know what we did anyway.
I don't know.
Maybe we never did nothing yet, huh? Oh, what can I do for you?
Mr.
Wait
Oliver,
a minute, you can't
come
just
to
come in
get-
this house like
We
that.
come to get Greg. Greg, please come with me.
No, you can't take this boy here. He lives here.
With no word-
His parents left him here with his grandparents.
I'm sorry,
Take my
Mr. Oliver.
grandchild
We
from me?
can and we have to. We have the authority. It's in the
Yeah.
best interest of the child. He's been abandoned with no
So-
word or no support from them in over 3 months.
But I'm his godfather. He's
No
not abandoned.
support for over 3 months. I'm sorry. We've told you this before. Unless this home is made fit and brought up to state
It's fit enough
standards.
for me to live in. It's fit enough for him
Unless
to
it's
live
been
in,
brought
too.
up to state standards, Mr. Oliver, he'll be placed in a foster home. You haven't complied. I mean, he's still sleeping
Our
on the
home is
couch.
fit.
He'll
This
be
is where we
placed in a
live
foster
here.
home. Mr. Oliver, I'm sorry. He'll have to come with us. Come on, Greg.
Just a minute now.
Come on, Greg, come with me.
Just a minute. Just a minute here.
Take me, Grandpa.
I should be able to talk to my grandson just a little bit before you take him. You know? You can't just take these boys and take them away from these people like that. Son, it looks like I can't help it right now. But Grandpa will do something. He's got to do something. Because I don't like the way they're messing with us Indian people. So I guess you'll have to go with them. I want you to hold your head up high. Look all them people straight in the eye. Because they don't understand how it is for Indian people. So I guess you'll have to go with them. Remember, hold your head up high, son.
Sorry, Mr. Oliver.
Oh, forgive me, Grandpa.
All rise. Be seated. To continue with the Oliver case, counsel, where's the child now?
Your Honor, the child's been taken from his grandfather and he's been placed in temporary foster care, the home of Mr. and Mrs. Robert Clark. They have a suitable home to offer the child. As was indicated earlier, Your Honor, all attempts to locate the child's parents have proven unsuccessful. Our information is that they abandoned the child and they left him with the grandfather. The child had been left totally unsupervised for long periods of time during the day. A neighbor alerted the Child Protective Service to this situation. Also, as the report indicates, grandfather is an elderly man who's incapable of caring for the child. Further, he lives on a subsistence income in a small house, which simply cannot adequately accommodate both of them. The temporary arrangement with the Clarks appears to be a satisfactory one.
Very well then. Given the facts involved and pursuant to Section 300 of the Welfare and Institution Code, I find it in the best interest of the child to adjudge him a dependent of the juvenile court, where he will continue in the current placement with the Clarks for 6 months, at which time we will again review the case.
Before passage of the Indian Child Welfare Act, there was very little that the grandfather could do to regain custody of his grandchild. He had no right to legal counsel if he could not afford it, nor did he have any priority in state court actions when a child was placed in foster care. As a result, Indian children were placed with non-Indian parents with often tragic results. Today, however, things are different. The Indian Child Welfare Act now guarantees that an Indian custodian will have the right to a free attorney to represent him if he cannot afford one. The Act also guarantees that a state court action must be transferred to tribal court if the child is a resident of the reservation. These courts will be run by Indian judges. If there is no tribal court, then the Indian Child Welfare Act requires that state courts place Indian children with Indian people. In order to avoid past injustices and indignities suffered by the Indian people, tribes must begin to assert their rights under the Indian Child Welfare Act. The very future of the Indian hangs in the balance.
When I was young, I was very ill. I placed my 3 oldest children into foster care, a decision that was very difficult to make. It made it hard for them as Indians to reconnect with me, and our culture ties have been broken by severing our relationship. I almost destroyed their identity, their Indianness. It's hard for them even now to speak about their growing up years in a non-Indian home.
Both my husband and myself were raised out of the Indian community in non-Indian homes. And that, for myself, I know that's made my life real difficult. I don't know, I tried to kill myself when I was 14 because I just knew that there wasn't any reason to go on. When I went back to living with Indian people, that I really didn't know how to act. I didn't know how to be an Indian person. And it's made it really hard trying to raise the kids because I don't even have the basic things to teach them, how to do even the simplest ceremonies. We have those things, they were given to us for a reason. And without that cultural base, you don't have anything else.
I was placed in a foster home when I was 12 years old. I never went home again after that. Since there was 10 people in my family, we went to the four corners of the county, basically. And I had two really young brothers who were living out in Corbell. So one morning, me and my two brothers, we wrote a big note on the bulletin board downstairs that we had gone to Corbell to see our brothers. When we got home, things had changed considerably. It was treated almost as it was a criminal act. And within a week after that move, after that trip out to Corbell, me and my brother Frank were shipped to a foster home in Fortuna. My brother Russ was shipped to a boys' home in South Fork. So the reaction from the foster home was that we should be punished and thereby broken up again, one more time, and sent to different parts of the county. You feel like a second-rate citizen in a foreign home in a hostile community without any family support to fall back on. And that's a little much to try to overcome. I have never felt that my experience in foster homes was in the best interest of the child.
Okay, so what he has to do is get you off, okay, and get up and run. Or you can throw him down here like this, then get up and take off running.
The spirit of the old ways is said to be universal. As Indians, we believe that a bond exists which connects us to every part of the earth and heavens. This philosophy is represented and strengthened through our traditional dances, rituals, and prayers. And it is taught to our children. They are our greatest resource. They are our future tribe. To reassume our right to decide our children's destiny is hard work. It takes commitment, but sovereignty and power can be the reward.
This court is now in session. Would the clerk please record that the tribal court advocate for Mr. Oliver is present, and as is Mr. Oliver. The record should also reflect Mary West, the tribal family worker, and Greg Oliver are also present. The decision of this court is as follows. The prior state proceedings were in violation of the Indian Child Welfare Act. We find it is in the best interest of the child that he grow strong in an Indian environment. And we find the love and bond between child and grandparent must be considered by this court. In our view, the grandfather can be a great source of wisdom for the child. Taken in total, we hold that Mr. Oliver is capable of providing a good home for Greg. This court finds that the removal of Greg by the state was unwarranted. The child was not abandoned, but in accordance with tribal custom and within the terms of the act, left in the care of Mr. Murky Oliver. Hence, Mr. Oliver qualifies as an Indian custodian and is therefore entitled to exercise the care and custody of young Greg. The child shall be returned to Mr. Oliver immediately. It is so ordered. This court is adjourned.
Grandpa! Oh, my boy. I know the great spirit of help. Now we can go home. Kawista. Kawista. Go home.
This has been a Shenandoah Film Production presentation.